Hi, I'm Beth from Dry It Can It. I'm not an expert, but I like to share what I have learned about drying food, dehydrating it, and canning food, and share unique recipes that I've put together. Today, I want to show you how easy it is to dehydrate bananas. Delicious banana chips, great snack, healthy, great for lunchbox, great for camping, great for backpacking, something that's really easy and good. So, obviously, you're going to use bananas for that. And a couple of things about your bananas. The more freckles they have, the sweeter they are. And the sweeter they are, the more brown they're going to turn when you're dehydrating them. Now, lots of people will slice their fruit and they'll soak it in a lemon water, maybe a couple tablespoons to 3 cups of water, just to kind of keep the coloring the same. I skip that step. It's just not that important to me. I also dehydrate my bananas at about 10 degrees lower temperature than most people do. Fruit generally can be dehydrated at 135 degrees. I prefer to dehydrate my bananas at 125 degrees because I think that keeps the color oftentimes a little bit better. Not all the time. But that said, these bananas are just a little bit past where I would want to use them. They have a little bit of freckles on them. I like it when the freckles are just showing to get the best result on these in terms of the sweetness I like. If you like them much sweeter, let them get more freckles. But the banana will get sweeter because when you're pulling out all of that water, you're concentrating the flavor of the banana and you're concentrating the natural sugars in the banana. So keep that in mind. Mine started freckling yesterday and I put them in the refrigerator right away, and that slows down the ripening process. So that's a good trick. The other thing I've learned is that if typically we pull this end open and we peel our banana, I've learned that if you peel them from the bottom up, oftentimes I find I get less of those stringy things that I have to deal with. Now I took these bananas and I just put a little slice mark on the bottom where the stem is, but I do find that that trick works really well for not having as much of the banana stringiness. And so that's something you might want to try, whether you're eating a banana fresh or whether you're dehydrating those. So to prepare these, you just need to slice these to the thickness that you want. There's a string regardless. Prepare these slicing them to the thickness that you want. You probably don't want them much more than about a 1/4 inch thick, but the thicker they are, the longer they're going to take to dehydrate. You can slice them the long way. You can slice them the short way. Say the majority of the people will do it the short way. If you do it the long way, obviously you're going to have some fruit that's going to take some time to dehydrate simply because you've got a large piece of fruit that you're dehydrating. So my trick basically to get nice even slices is I take my bananas and I cut them in about thirds, like so. And then I use an egg slicer to get nice even pieces. And I simply put the banana in here, push down, and boom, my banana slices come out. And I just put them in the banana however it fits, pull it out, fill my tray, and that works out really well for me. Now, obviously using a knife, nothing wrong with that whatsoever. I just find this is easier and I find it's a nice way to get even slices. As you're slicing your banana, you do need to make sure that you separate the pieces. You do want to have air circulation around them, so you don't want them touching. And you also want to make sure that they're not stacked at all. Usually about halfway through the drying process, I'm going to say peel them off of the grate because they can stick a little bit. And then flip them over. I think that's a good little trick to do also. Now these bananas have quite a bit of sugar content in these, and I can feel that because they're extra sticky. So sometimes that means that they're going to turn a little bit more brown on me, but it kind of depends on the humidity and how long they're in the dehydrator. Sometimes I'll have them in overnight. So I just want to show you what this looks like. You can get a feel for that. Obviously, I'm going to fill the tray. But go ahead and slice your bananas. Put them in the dehydrator for however long it takes. Bananas are going to be done when they're leathery, when you're not going to feel any moisture, and when you can pretty much snap them. There'll be a little bit of chew to them, but they'll be pretty crispy. Bananas are going to be crispy for the most part. So I'm going to go ahead and prepare the rest of my bananas. I'm going to put them in the dehydrator at 125 degrees instead of 135 degrees. just because I like them that way, but 135 degrees is fine. When these are done, which will be late today or sometime tomorrow, then I'll be back to show you what the end result is. But really simple, really healthy. If you find bananas on sale, which oftentimes they are, this is a great way to save them. So I'll be back when these are done. My bananas have been out of the dehydrator for a day or two, and I am currently in the process of conditioning them. Believe it or not, this is 5 dehydrated bananas. So as I indicated earlier, don't pre-treat my bananas. I just don't like the flavor of lemon with them. Some people will use a citric acid. I don't. But I still have really nice slices that are very attractive and work out really well. Now, some of the bananas that were a little bit more ripe, which frankly were almost brown, they're definitely darker. If I put a couple of the light ones on there, maybe you'll see the comparison. They're definitely darker. That doesn't bother me. If it does bother you, you might want to pre-treat the bananas. Or the more freckles they have, the higher the sugar content, the more likely they are to brown. So something to keep in mind. How do you know when they're done? You know they're done when, first of all, you take them out of the dehydrator, you let them get to room temperature. That's probably 10 minutes or so. And then you're gonna pick them up and you're gonna find out that they're not sticky at all. They're gonna feel leather-like, they're gonna be hard. They're going to have a little bit of bend, but at the same point in time, they do snap. So here's another one. It has a little bit of bend, but it does snap. That one pulls actually, but it still breaks apart really clean. You're gonna put those in a jar and you're going to condition those for 4 to 7 days. Now, because bananas have a high sugar content, you do wanna make sure that you keep an eye on them and make sure that they're not sticking. If you eat some, great, they're delicious, but put your cover back on because they will absorb moisture. So sometimes when you're conditioning them, you're gonna find that they're going to stick to the bottom or they're going to stick to each other. Just give them a good tap. If they fall, then you know that it's just compression. You're just looking for signs of moisture and you're looking for the pieces to pretty much stay individual. Once they're conditioned for 4 to 7 days, you wanna put them in an airtight container. You know, any kind of a jar works great. An old spaghetti jar where if you look at the lid, it has a little bit of a plastic lining. Those kind of jars are great, or jam jars. You can put it in a Mylar bag. Plastic bags long-term aren't going to work because they aren't really moisture proof. Mylar bags are also great. You can go ahead and vacuum pack them, you know, in the jars or in the Mylar bags. And then just keep them in a place that is out of direct sunlight and preferably a little bit cooler temperatures. So dehydrated bananas, really easy, great for snacking, great for the kids' school lunches as you think about school in another month. You can certainly powder these, though they will get a little bit sticky sometimes. But if you found this helpful and you learned something, give me a thumbs up, that would be great. More importantly, please subscribe to the channel. I slice my bananas about 1/8 of an inch thick. I use an egg slicer for that. I'll put a link below to the one I use, and if I find some other ones that I think are good, I'll put those down there too. But other than that, thank you for watching and happy dehydrating.